All right. Hey, coaches. We're finally seeing that everyone is talking about mental QB training out here. Amazing. Love to see it. But there's one thing these companies that are trying to come to the table are missing. It is when we've been focused on this from day one. It literally has been a part of our platform since day one. And that's why we here at Playbook are still way ahead of the game when it comes to mental quarterback training. So I'm going to show you today a couple companies that are trying to come into our space. While they're pretty cool, they're not going to make it because we actually still hold that secret sauce. And number two, I want to show you, since we just released a whole bunch of new upgrades to our platform, wanted to just show you one cool one today. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen, get into the competitive landscape. Again, I think it's really cool that we finally do have some people trying to come into our space. And even this company, Crucible, they have Ryan Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic on there. Very smart, because he's obviously a smart guy that came to this, that did his job so well, playing football and really showing what we've been talking about for years, right? Like the best quarterbacks separate them through decision making, processing, and mastering the game. And Fitzmagic is a very good example of that. Obviously, not the biggest, not the strongest, not the fastest, but it shows what a smart quarterback that can understand training can do. And that's the whole point of Playrbook, right? Get there. This tool that they've created is very similar. It's actually built on the same exact technology as ours, Unity software. So you can see it looks very similar to ours. They have their preloaded plays, preloaded offensive concepts and defensive concepts in theirs. So it's interesting that that they do that. Now, that's all well and good, but they're missing the main the main issue here. They're missing the whole point. Coaches that need to train their quarterbacks, that need to train for this season, they have to kind of piece together what this company thinks is a good concept or a standard concept. There's 7 different ways to run stick. There's 20 different ways to run spot or corner. So, and then not to mention defenses, cover 2, cover 3, it's pretty standard, but some coaches do some different things with linebackers or strong safeties. Not every cover 2 is the same. Not every cover 3 is the same. So, while this is cool and they're trying to get into the mental side of the game, and looks like they've been funded, probably got a little bit more cachet than us. At the end of the day, they are lacking, because real quarterback training comes down to, do you know your coaches? Do you know what your coach is trying to teach you? Can you control what's going on with your coach's playbook? Okay, with your coach's system, with your coach's terminology, and if the answer is no, while it might be well intentioned and they might want to get in this game with us of mental quarterback training, it's not working out, and it won't translate this season for you. So again, pretty cool that this company is in our space, but they're not going to make it, because they are not giving coaches the opportunity to actually upload their plays and show and test their players. Let coaches test their players using their playbook. Okay, so obviously, without that, what are we doing? Okay, so that's Crucible. Now, number 2 is Dub Maddox and his R4. So I'm not talking about the R4. I'm talking about his virtual training. And let me just stop here and say R4 is an amazing game-changing communication system. And I've used it. And if you are a head coach or an AD and a football-minded AD, I promise you it's worth purchasing R4 for your coaches and program to get on the same page with one another, speak the same language. What I'm here to kind of joke around and talk about is this virtual training. That this is not VR. It's quite literally watching Dubs practice and game film through a computer that is on your face. an uncomfortable, heavy 20-something pound computer that's on your face. Again, here's a picture of a kid kind of doing it at home, but as you can see, he's just watching game film. And number two, more to the point, he's watching Dub's practicing game film of Dub's version of stick and Dub's version of whatever concepts that might sort of align with what you're coaching this season. That's great. And for general quarterback IQ, I want to advance the game. And we all know that while there's amazing quarterback athletes in the NFL and in college, that doesn't make you a great quarterback. What does is your mind. But for this season, to train your quarterback, if it doesn't line up with your exact concepts and your exact schemes, then really you're completely limited on the whole purpose of this thing and where you're going with it. Okay, so again, big fan of Dub, big fan of what he does with R4. I would never say anything negative about that, but that is not VR. that is just film on your face. And that's why we've stayed focused on one thing here at Playrbook, right? Giving coaches full control. It's your system, your concepts against the concept defensively that you will face on a week-to-week basis, your language and mental reps for your players that literally are happening on number one. You can project it into a room while you're teaching and installing, like I'll show you here in a second. And then number two, they can obviously, the kids can take it home and play on their phones, which has always been the point anyway. Okay, so those are really cool things. These are two companies that are in our space. Finally, there's people worried about quarterback mental reps and quarterback training mentally. The field is, you can do all that all you want, but if you don't have it mentally, you're not going anywhere. So because of that, and because we just kicked off version 2 of Playrbook just last week, I'm going to show you one cool new feature that we have added to the game to make sure that you are getting deep with your players. Okay, so we are in the Playrbook platform. I'm going to go into this bow concept, empty bow concept against cover 2, right? And just like in the old version, you can draw offense and defense, exactly who's doing what, and you kind of have an understanding this offensive concept versus this defensive concept, who's doing what. Now, one cool feature, this is not what I'm going to show you. I've been demoing this for 2 days or 2 weeks now, is that now the boards come to life. And as you're projecting this in the classroom or you're online with your team, probably your offensive unit for this one in particular, now you can do this defensively too. You can kind of show them how the play will unfold and just talk big picture, right? This is big picture, this concept versus this defense. Here's how it should play out in a perfect world. And you can make kind of different versions of how it might play out so you can show them. Now, we're talking about nuance. And I want to show one cool feature because we want to make sure all coaches can do this. So if you look at these little black lines at the front of these players, this is where their eyes are facing, okay? Their body is facing forward, forward, forward. We've given you the ability to change this now because we want, as you're talking through with your quarterbacks, right? We're going to switch. This is a new feature too. We're going to switch the quarterback view from their helmet, and we're going to talk through, again, projecting to a field, or projecting in the classroom or online. We're going to talk through this. And from a quarterback's perspective, be able to show you, okay, there's 2 safeties. Those cornerbacks are at about 5 yards, and they're looking at the receivers, okay? So now we're going to switch back, and we want to give them even more nuance. This week, we get a lot of these players, and you can choose their positions, and I like it in the squat. We get a lot of players that face, these cornerbacks are facing our quarterback. That's a tell. So we want to show that and teach the players what that means. So if you can see, I put in a rotation number here, and that moved the line here. So it's literally like 0 through 180 or 0 through 360. And as you kind of use the dial, it will turn their body. So on that side, I made him turn in. I'm going to go to this side, click on him, select pose, turn him in. And I just know these numbers, and I'll put it on some paper so you guys can see it. Now you can see they're pointed in, but more importantly, as you're talking through this with your players, sorry, got to switch views again. As you're talking through it with your players, they can actually see now the body position. Okay, so now you see he is turned. And as you're kind of talking through it with the team or quarterback room, okay, well, what does this tell us now? If he is turned in 45-degree angles looking at me as a quarterback, and we have two safeties, what is that telling me, QB? This one isn't turned in as dramatically, but he is turned in. So what do you think that means? Two safeties, three linebackers, cornerbacks with their bodies turned in. These are the winning conversations, guys. These are the nuanced conversations that you can get into with your quarterbacks. And these just spur on more and more conversations. You can watch the play unfold as the cornerback kind of sits, but doesn't then comes forward. So yes, he was in a cover two. He doesn't drop all the way back, just kind of sinks back, make sure there's nothing to worry about. So these are the winning nuanced conversations, guys, that we have been talking about for years. Okay. That's what we're here for. We want you to be able to drive these conversations with your players. Be honest. Your huddle playbook, your just play playbook, your player X playbook. That's for you. That's for coaches. Okay. What are you going to do for the players to help them learn? That's what Playrbook is for. So you can go teach them in the install, project it on the board, do it over online. And then they just took what I just showed you. They take that home and play it on their phones. You get tests and you get to go ahead and understand if they are actually understanding what you're teaching. Okay. That's the modern playbook. You don't, the old playbooks, that's for coaches, and there's nothing wrong with that. But really what we're here for is making sure your quarterbacks and your receivers and your offensive and defensive units understand what's going on. And Playrbook version 2 is the way to do it. Okay. So in recap, we have a couple new players in the quarterback mental training space, which is exciting. I love that this industry is finally picking up 3 years after we tried to shake everyone and wake them up to it. Without mental quarterback play, I don't care how strong, fast, big, how far he can throw. And then I just wanted to show you one of our new features. I'm going to do a new feature every night, so I'll be back on this time tomorrow night talking about the second new feature of the week. But anyway, please go check out the newest version 2, ready. It's at playerbook.com right now. Check it out. You can see how all these things can really help you supercharge and get to those winning conversations, because without a quarterback, guys, you don't have a chance. All right. Talk to you guys soon.